You're listening to the Hockey Podcast Network. New shows every day. Find us at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Oh, it's playoff time. Big stakes, bigger promotions. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook has the hookup. They're putting you courtside with a chance to turn $5 into 200 smackaroos. That's 40-1 odds on any basketball game. All you got to do is pick any team that is still in the hunt for the trophy. And if that team wins, you're going to get $200 in free credit. That's right. Pick any team that is still in contention. Bet $5. And if that team wins, you cash $200 in free credits. All it takes is claim these 40-1 odds on the basketball team you're choosing is placing a $5 bet on that team and that team to win. Don't forget, DraftKings Sportsbook also offers great odds and promotions on baseball, hockey, Hockey fans? Yeah, that's right. That's why you're listening. And it's so much more all week long. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN when you sign up to turn $5 into $200 in free credits. Bet on the basketball team of your choice to win the next game, and if they do, you claim $200 in free credits. That's promo code THPN for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Wager paid out in site credits. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Welcome to episode 50 of season 2 of Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas about your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. I think we were expecting a much bigger episode for episode 50 of season 2. But alas, as I mentioned in the last episode, we're going to be running through these a little bit quicker because Matt has a new baby and he doesn't want to leave his wife hanging for too long. So we've got some quick subjects. I do appreciate everyone that went to check out the Jakub Vrana chat and his new contract. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, head on over to the YouTube channel. It's the Brothers of Discussion. Would greatly appreciate the subscribe if you click on that subscribe button. It was a fun conversation. And hey, we want to hear from everybody that's listening right now. What other subjects can I tackle? And hopefully like a 5 to 15 minutes of me just chatting at you. We will get back to a regular schedule where my brother and I are going to be going over the Red Wings. And of course, we do have the draft lottery coming up. So, you know, what is there for me to dissect on a Monday before the draft lottery? I think everything to dissect is going to happen thereafter. So we'll touch on that once it happens, and we'll kind of take a peek at what we think will be available. But for the time being, I think it's just time for us to take a look at a few different things inside the Red Wings roster, inside things going on in Cap Friendly, and what can we figure out with this roster moving forward. I got to start today. We actually just recently got the entry-level contract signed by Jonatan Berggren. And I think it's time for us to maybe, I don't know, if you haven't quite met him yet, you get to take a deeper look. But ultimately, I just kind of want to book what I hope what his first line is going to look like. Not him being on the first line, but the first line that he'll be working on. And what I think makes the most sense. So why don't we start with a quick rundown here of who Jonatan Berggren is for anybody that isn't completely familiar. This is one of the last hopes, I would say, from the Ken Holland draft years. This is 2018 second rounder. number 33 overall for the Wingdings. He is 20 years old. He's just getting off a 49-game campaign in the SHL, which ended up being a 45-point campaign, helping him earn the title of playmaker. Something that, as the Red Wings continue to build here, we see the likes of Jakub Vrana, who, of course, we already referenced, we spoke about in the last episode, has been turning heads from the perspective of being a fantastic goal scorer. And, of course, if you go back, take a look at Austin Matthews' numbers in goal per 60, Jakub Vrana is right there. So this would be fantastic for Berggren to step in as a playmaker. Now, the game we wanted to play today again is see if we can map out a fun line for Jonatan Berggren. And that starts out with us reminding everybody when he was drafted, he did actually get drafted as a center and a winger. That was something that if you took a look at like what elite prospects was thrown out there, boom, there you have it. A couple of positions there. But this past season in the SHL, he's definitely turned himself into more of a winger. I would have to say, though, never take anything out of the realm of possibilities, especially with what we saw with Robby Fabbri. And as the season went on for Robby Fabbri, of course, he did improve in the faceoff circle with a very rough start, as we pointed out on the show, but at least turned into a serviceable centerman. So get back to that conversation with Berggren. Is that the right thing to do in his first go-around, is to put him in the center spot when he hasn't even been necessarily, I don't know if we want to say earning or more or less turning into a better winger? I think that is last on my priority list, is forcing that. I think the Red Wings proved last season that they've at least got some spaces in mind where you can fill in some names, and you just got to kind of fill out the rest of the roster to be a little bit more interesting than seeing the likes of Darren Helm and Luke Glendening surrounding names like Joe Veleno. So that's where we'll start. If we are going to start mapping out Jonatan Berggren's successful first season, I ultimately want to put him with Joe Veleno. Now, we don't even know if Joe Veleno is going to start the season in Detroit. It's a conversation probably coming up for another day, but it is something that in the end of the season, let's just say the press conferences, albeit a Zoom meeting, Steve Yzerman did mention the conversations with Joe Veleno, and that if he's going to get a roster spot next season, guess who it's up to? It's up to Joe Veleno. So I'm going to sit there and say what we saw at the end of this season was a kid who desperately wants to be in the lineup, and he played fantastic. So while I go top to bottom on this roster, you kind of want to see Zadina and Vrana playing together, I would say. I mean, we've already got a sweet nickname, and that's pretty much the half of it. But you got the checkmates playing together. We don't really know the future of Tyler Bertuzzi. We know Dylan Larkin's hanging around. And you know, outside of that, you've got the mix of Robby Fabbri. It's just, so I'm going down this list of centers here, and the exciting one to me again would just land me in the realm of Joe Veleno. Now, we've already covered the unrestricted free agent situation and the restricted free agent situation for the Detroit Red Wings. There are a ton of variables that could figure into what exactly this roster looks like next year. But I don't anticipate like Adam Ernie getting in the way of Berggren. I think we know what's going on in that direction. And in the realm of trying to find a spot for a playmaker that is Berggren, and to put him with a center that at least is going to add some excitement from my perspective, and a cat who was tenacious in front of the net, tenacious on the boards, and was playmaking himself. I'm going to go ahead and just double down and say that's Veleno for me. I think there's a possibility of a Michael Rasmussen getting mixed in there. You want to talk about a playmaker like Berggren, and some of the plays you could see on the screen now that are absolutely incredible. That is his eye for seeing where the play is, but the creativity to get the puck from one spot to another does put in my mind a big body like Rasmussen and trying to get in front of the net. And Rasmussen certainly seemed to come into his own in regards to using his body, but still, I'm going to come back to what I saw from Joe Veleno. And from that two-way perspective, and even if you go to what the Detroit Red Wings said, and this is kind of my capper on who I want to center a line with Berggren, Berggren said himself he wants to work on that two-way game. And if we do want to head in that direction, I think, and we've seen it from the Red Wings, from what Steve Yzerman has said himself, clearly from Jeff Blashill's strategy, I think it is a better idea to put him with Veleno. Now, if you want, the more experience, who knows exactly what the priority is going to be right when the season starts, who knows what this roster is going to look like. But based on what I'm looking at right now, I don't see Veleno and his lack of experience really hurting those opportunities for Berggren to step in and find a role. But if that was the case, definitely do look out for that being Robbie Fabbri or Dylan Larkin being the center for Jonatan Berggren. So who's our other winger? Well, there's a lot of different directions we can go with that, because with some of the names we've already mentioned, I do want to stick with Zadina and Vrana playing together. But again, nothing's really in stone. We saw that even at the end of the season, those two were not glued to each other. So if you had to pick one of the two, obviously you want to go with Vrana, because that's the guy with the silky smooth shot, and he's even still putting them in the IIHF. So that would be a fun direction to go. As some of the comments you can see of people who are watching all of these SHL games are, Berggren's always making the plays. It's just that boys around him aren't finishing. So you see that he has 45 points in 49 games in the SHL. A lot of the comments I saw is you put him with a superstar shooter. Again, do I want to sit here and say Vrana is an elite goal scorer? I'm going to say everything we've seen presents tools that make him look like this is the real deal. So take advantage of that, put him with him. Another kind of interesting one I thought to kind of test. I mean, there's always, if he's going with Dylan Larkin, and that would be if Jonatan Berggren's paired with Dylan Larkin, probably put Bertuzzi on that other side. I'm going to have fun here. You ready? I don't mind Adam Ernie being a part of this. I think Ernie has shown he wants to put his nose, if he's not putting his nose to the grind, he's putting it in the back of the net. That guy could do wonders with a real playmaker around him. And that would just be fun too. I mean, you're talking about, again, somebody who doesn't have a contract yet, but he's going to be 26 going into the next season, 27. Certainly will be affordable, but you got to look at the last season and say he performed really well. Is there an opportunity for him to take a step up from what he was doing? And we saw a guy who was performing spectacularly from a goals per 60 perspective, a points per 60 perspective, and it was clearly his best season since coming to the NHL. So do you reward him is maybe the question. And I think that's probably a fun way to go for me. So there's a lot of different options. If you're throwing in Adam Ernie, you're not necessarily butting heads with multiple playmakers, all being on one line. But I'm going to stumble here because I just realized I'm getting summoned to help my daughter. But I'm going to wrap this up here. But I'd like to hear what you guys have to think as we map out next season. We don't even know if Berggren's going to be necessarily part of that Red Wings lineup, but for me, this is my go-to lineup, and you guys laugh if you will. I'm doing it. Berggren on the right side, Ernie on the left side, give me Joe Veleno up the middle. That's going to be my Berggren line going forward. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Please hit the subscribe button if you had a little bit of fun listening to me just rant about Jonatan Berggren's upcoming season. But of course, these are some shorter episodes. My brother and I will be hooking back up pretty soon, and then we'll get back live. We'll get the conversation going between the two of us and all of you once again, once we can get past this. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for your patience, and have a good one.